So this was like coffee on the monthly time frame, right? So this was the trend of the market. As you can clearly see, the price direction of the market is clearly to the upside. So this was like type of like the high probability setup, because the direction of the market on the higher time frame is clearly moving to the upside, and we have a major level here. So we have like a major level, as you can see. So price got rejected from this level. So this was like first rejection at this point, and price got rejected from it around this region. So we have like a so when we have a break of it, we did not have like any major retest of it. So after price break out of the level, so price still came back down to retest the level. And also, if I draw the Fibonacci from drawing the Fibonacci from swing low to swing high, you can see that this was like a 50% Fibonacci level. So if I draw the Fibonacci like this, so this was like the 50% Fibonacci level, in line with the major key level, and also in line with the direction of the market. So we have a higher high here, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, and we have like somewhat of another higher low here. So these are like the type of like high probability setup that I'm talking about. A trade that price like got into maybe a major support or a major resistance, and also in line with the Fibonacci, and if possible in line with the trend line too. So then if I go to like the weekly time frame, you will see that. So scaling down to the weekly time frame, you can see that we have like, so there was like a trend line around this region. So if I draw it out, there was still like trend line supporting this move to the upside. So you can see that we have the first touch of the trend line around this region. So we have the first touch of the trend line, we have like the second touch of it here. So okay, so we have first touch, we have a second touch, and we have like third touch of it. So this was the third touch of the trend line. Also, it was like a retracement back into a Fibonacci level, and also a major key level in line with the right direction of the market. So this was like a very high probability setup. So like I always say, so if you are getting into any trade, so you should be looking at how the trade was looking. So how good the setup looks. So based on the monthly trend, we know that the direction of the market is to the upside, and also we have a retracement back into a major key level, a Fibonacci level, and also a trend line level. So these are the type of the high probability setup that I'm talking about. And if I still go to like the daily time frame, or let me say maybe the 1 hour time frame, you can still see that price still broke a counter trend line before I got into this buy trade. So we still have a counter trend line here that price still got broken to the upside before I still got into a buy trade. So I think, what do you say?
Even on the weekly, it's double bottom.
Yeah. So there was like somewhat of a double bottom here, like around this region. So if I let me go to the weekly, there was like somewhat of a double bottom too. Yeah. So this was like a very high probability setup. So these are the type of trade that I usually took. But in most cases, like you are not going to be getting like this type of setup a lot of times. So you just have to. So when it comes to like break and retest, like we are talking about like in the evening. So when it comes to like looking for like break and retest on a trade, so there are like different types of like break and retest that like I usually use. But on this trade personally, so this was just like how I got into the buy trade on this pair. And like I always said, if price broke a level, like maybe a major level, even if price manipulate the level, you should always wait for price to like start trading above the level again. So if price manipulate the level, wait for price to start trading above the level again, and for price to retest that level again before like you got into a trade, either a selling opportunity or a buying opportunity. So that's what's happening here. Price broke this trend line. So price broke this key level and also broke this trend line, and then price start trading above it. When price start trading above it, we still have like a retest of it before price to continue heading higher. So if I want to draw the counter trend line here, I can just put it like this. So when price just broke it, so price, we have a break and retest of it, and price retest like a major level, still retest like the trend line here out before price broken it to the upside, and also broken the counter trend line to the upside. So that's just like how I got into this trade. But when it comes to like looking for break and retest, so I usually go with the obvious like the break and retest that you can clearly see. So how I usually look for break and retest is you wait for price. So if it was like a resistance level around this region, so you wait for price to break the level. So it might not be that significant, but for maybe just 2 or maybe just 1 or maybe 2 4-hour candlestick to close above the level, then just wait for like a retest of it before you start looking for maybe a buying opportunity. So what I usually do is, if you are like looking for like a break and retest, you should be able to see maybe a gap in between, like as price break above and then as price like came back down to retest that level. So it should be like there must be like a gap. It must not be just like two tiny candles, so maybe two candles stuck together, maybe a bullish candle and then followed by a bearish candle. So that's not like considered a very good break and retest. So the perfect break and retest is going to be for price to break the level. Maybe it might be maybe one or two 4-hour candlestick, depends on how huge the candlestick is. So just wait for price to break it and then wait for price to like retest that level again. So for you just to be able to see maybe like a gap in between that level before you start looking for either buying or selling opportunity. So I would still like talk more about it, but let's look at GBPCHF. So I'm already on a sell trade on GBPCHF at the moment.
Sorry, boss.
Yeah,
Hello.
I'm listening.
Hello.
Can you please go back to that coffee? I have one question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
We'll go to weekly time frame, please.
Okay. Okay, so I'm on the weekly.
Let me see your take profit.
Okay, yeah. So the take profit is at the 27% Fibonacci level. So
okay.
Yeah, it's at this. So most of the time, so if price wants to continue heading higher, it's likely that price goes into that level. But this is not like the most realistic, like the take profit is not like that realistic, but I'm just putting it here. So if price goes and then I start seeing some bearish candlestick, like some huge bearish candlesticks, so maybe some daily candlesticks, so I might go out of the trade. But there will still like a high chance of price broken above here because we have like a third touch of a trend line, a retest to a major level, and also a Fibonacci level. So it's likely that price still continue move back to the upside to create another higher high before retracing back down to create a higher low. So that's where like the take profit is around this level. So it's just like the 27% Fibonacci level. So let me check. Yeah, it's just like 27% Fibonacci level. So that's it.
Okay.
But if you are trading it, you can still put your take profit here. So this is like the most realistic like point to put your take profit. So I just put it here because it's likely that price still got into that zone. So looking at the structure. So now let's just look at like another trade.
It looks like that trade was going negative before.
Yeah, it was going negative. So it's even almost hit like a stop loss around this region.
Exactly.
It's almost hit a loss. Yeah, it's almost hit a loss on this trade around this level, as you can see. So it's almost hit a loss, and then everything is turning like it's still like continue heading higher. So that's just it. So now let's look at GBPCHF. I think we talked about GBPCHF in our last session that we had. So looking at GBPCHF, the reason why I sold around this region is because I sold around this region after we have a break of a counter trend line, but the reason why I sold is just based on the trend of the market. So looking at the structure, right? The structure of the market has been to the downside for a very long time. So price have been moving to the downside for a very long time. Looking at it on the monthly time frame and also on the 3-month time frame, the structure of the market is clearly to the downside. So price was clearly moving to the downside. So everything was clearly pointing to the downside. So looking at it on the monthly time frame, price was still like moving to the downside and also expecting like this trend line around this region. So we have a first touch of it around this region, we have a second touch of it, and we have like the other touch around this region. So when price still broke above it, price start trading below it, and we still have a test of it around this region before price still continue dropping further. So we know that the direction of the market is clearly to the downside. So now looking at the trend on the weekly time frame, we have a lower high here because this high is still lower than this previous high. So we have a lower high, we have a lower low, we have a lower high, and we have like somewhat of equal low around this region. But having a equal low does not mean that the trend of the market is changing. It's just like equal low. So price have not broken past this last lower high here. So this was still so we have a lower high, we have a equal low, and it's possible that price create another lower high around this region. So this level was like a daily level. So if I go to the daytime, we see like the reason why I draw this level around this region. But if I draw the Fibonacci from this last higher low to this recent, so from last lower high to the recent, like maybe let's call it equal low. So you can see that price have gotten to like a key level, like a major key level, and also price have gotten into a 50% Fibonacci level. So to me, this was like a very high probability setup because following the trend of the market is to the downside. So following the trend of the market on the weekly time frame and also on the day time frame. So following the trend of the market, so this was it. So price going into a Fibonacci level got into a key level, like a major key level. So this was a very high probability setup. And if you look at how price respects this major level in the past, so price respected like significantly around this region. So price respect is significantly around this region. So this was like what I'm talking about having a break and retest. You see this type of break and retest, you clearly see that okay, this was a break and retest of this level. So price broke left to the upside and came back down to retest it before moving back to the upside. So this was like type of like break and retest that I usually, yeah.
When you can you
Like I'm hearing you.
hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing
That
you.
means you want to see a clear break. That means there must be a move, like 2 or 3 candles move
Yes,
upside,
yes,
or whether
exactly.
if they buying
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, before you see
Okay,
the retest. So most of the time
okay.
it does not actually have to be maybe 2 or 3 candles. So even if it's just one candlestick, we can see how this candlestick from here. Even if price like after this
No,
candlestick close here, if price still retrace back down. So as long as you have already seen like the break of this level, so it's just for you to wait for the retest of it. So the one that you can clearly see after price broke that level to the either to the upside or to the downside, after price broke it clearly, so just wait for like a retracement of that level, like for price to retrace back into that level before you start looking for buying opportunity or selling opportunity. So it's just for you to be able to see the retracement clearly. So that's it. So if you can like clearly spot like the retracement and you can clearly confirm that price is definitely retracing back into that level, so it will be easy for you to go into a buy trade and for you to make like a trading decision. So you're not just going to be making like a trading decision based on maybe what you think or what you thought that it might happen, but based on what you already seen. So that's just like what I'm talking about. But so like I'm saying about this level, so price is expected like significantly around this region. So that's why I just use it. So now looking at it here now, so price got into a major level, got into a Fibonacci level. So that's why like I sold around this region. So looking at the market structure, like I say, we have a lower high, we have a low, and we have like a potential lower high here. So that's why I sold there and then put my TP to this key level here. So it's just like 1:3 this clear. So I'm just expecting price to continue heading back to the downside. So that's just it for now. But I think price is having difficulties moving to the upside, moving to the downside because of this level here. So that was like a major level. That was like a key level around this region that price was currently respecting. So if price could break this level to the downside, so price might just continue heading lower. So that's just like how I'm trading
Hello,
GBPCHF.
but sorry, but
Okay, I'm hearing you.
sorry. That means most of your trade if you want to use break and test, you mostly combine Fibonacci with your break and test.
Yeah, most of the time I usually combine Fibonacci, but not all the time. So yeah, I
So
usually
can you
use,
hear me?
yes, I'm hearing you. Like I usually use the Fibonacci a lot, but it's not like I usually, so most of the time I use the Fibonacci for like break and retest, but on not on hot trade. So I'm still on a buy trade on Euro UD. So let's talk about that. I did not use a Fibonacci on this trade. So I did not use like a Fibonacci to got into this trade. So how I got into the trade is I already know that the direction of the market is clearly to the upside, looking at it on the higher time frame. So if I go to the weekly, you could see that all these candlesticks are bullish. So now looking at it on the weekly time frame, the structure of the market is clearly to the upside. So price was clearly moving to the upside, looking at it on the weekly. So we have a high here, we have a higher high, and then we have a pullback. So price have not fulfilled like this move yet. So if I draw my Fibonacci from here, so price got into a Fibonacci level, so got into the 50 Fibonacci level and also its 1.8 Fibonacci level. So I was already in a buy trade around this region. So I took the buy trade and like I was expecting price to continue heading back to the upside, back into this level, but price retraced around this region, and I think I closed out the first trade. So that's how I got into the second trade, and then so the second trade too ended up being a break even. So that's how like I still got into this third trade. But what I'm just saying is that looking at the structure of the market, everything was clearly pointing to the upside. So if I now go down to like the daily time frame now, so looking at it on the daily time frame, so I just wait for price to break like this. So I was already watching this counter trend line. So when price was like retracing back to the downside, so I just wait for price to break this counter trend and also broke this key level. You will see that this was like somewhat of a major level based on how price got ejected here, and also here too. So I just wait for price to like broke this counter trend and also for price to broke this major level before I start looking for buying opportunity. So but I did not just look for buying opportunity at that level. So I still wait for price to broke. So when I discovered that there was like a minor level here, as you can see. So there was like a minor level here. So around this region, I wanted to go into a buy trade as soon as price broke above here. But when I see that price was broken, like price was getting ejected from this key levels, as you can see. So this key level here, you can see what's happened here. So this can still be considered a break and retest, as long as you can see like a gap in between it. So you can see that after price broke out, this was like a successful breakout of this level. So price broke out of this level successfully. So then after then price came back down to retest the level. So this was still like a break and retest of this level. So this was still like a good break and retest. So though it was not a lot of candles, maybe 3 candles or 4 candles, but even with just these 2 candles, you could see that you could still see like the middle of it. After price broke it, you know that this was a break of the level, and then this was a retest of it. So when price still got ejected, when I see that okay, price already got injected from this level, so I just wait for price to like broke this level. So when this 4-hour candlestick broke the level, and then so I even think I got into this trade late. So because this 4-hour candlestick already closed above this level, so another candle is already formed. So that's why my entry is here. So if I want to go into the buy trade, it should be after this candlestick closed. But this bullish candlestick already closed at the time. So when this second candlestick was just formed, I think that's when I got into the buy trade. So this was just like the candlestick that I used after price broke this minor level. So on this trade, I did not use. So this was like a big and retest of this level. So what I'm just saying is I did not use a Fibonacci to enter this trade, but in like a lot of my trade, I usually use the Fibonacci a lot to go into a trade, even if it was like a break and retest. But in this case, I did not use a Fibonacci. So there are some trades that I use Fibonacci, and there are some that I did not like use Fibonacci at all. So that's just it. I hope you get that. So now let's now let's look at, okay, also I'm on a buy trade on JPAUD as well. So I'm on a buy trade on JPAUD too. So how I go into the buy trade is just like very simple. It's just like following the trend of the market. So now if I look at it on the weekly, so looking at the structure of the market on the weekly time frame, we have, so what happened here is so looking at the structure here, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, and then we have a major drop back to the downside for price to create another higher low. So now I draw my Fibonacci from swing low here to swing high, as you can see. So I drop my Fibonacci from swing low to swing high, and then wait for price to go into a major level and also around the Fibonacci level. So as long as price was already inside the Fibonacci level, so that's all right. So that's just like price got into a Fibonacci zone. So price have gotten into a major key level. So let me show you guys how I draw this level out. So this is just like basically how I draw the level. I think I started drawing. So these are just like based on how price like finds support around this level and also support around this level. So it was a major level, and also how price got ejected from here and also at this point too. So that's just like how I draw the level. So I just wait for price to go into the level. So when price goes into the level, so and then I identify this like this downward trend line. So before you could start looking for any buying opportunity, though the direction of the market is to the downside and to the upside, and price have got into a Fibonacci level and also a major level, but I will still have to wait for price to break this counter trend line. So that's why my entry is around this region. So when price got here, so when price was moving to the upside, there was a counter trend line here. So I just wait for price to break the counter trend and also for price to like, so for price to break the counter trend line and also for price to break this minor level before I got into a buy trade. So that's just like how I got into this trade. So just a retracement back into a major level and also into a Fibonacci level, and for price to break the counter trend line. So that's why I just go into the trade here. So I cannot put my stop loss below here because it's going to be very wide. So that's just like why I put it below this key level here. So after price broke this key level here, so that's just like when I go into the trade, and I'm just targeting like 1:3 on this trade. So that's just it. So if I want to like take profit, so looking at the structure of the market and also looking at how price was moving, so my take profit was supposed to, so my first TP was supposed to be around this region. My first TP should be around this region, and my second TP should be around this next major level. So if I draw the Fibonacci, so The 27% Fibonacci level is just for like take profits, for you just to decide like take profit level where price is likely to go to and then go rejected. So and that was this, and it was this key level here. So it was still in line with the major level, like the take profit level. So if for me to go into a buy trade, so my TP was supposed to be here, but on this trade, so I'm just like trading it on a prop account. So that's why I'm using like 1:3. So that's just like, so that's just like following the rules of like the account. So the account that I'm trading currently, so that's just like me following the rules. So that's why I'm using 1:3. But if I want to go into the trade on a personal account, so it's going to be, so the first TP is going to be here. So you can just put your first TP here, or you can just put it to the overall target around this level. So that's just it on this trade. So now I'm also on a buy trade on GBPCHF. So we talked about GBPCHF also in our last video. So in the last live session that we had, so we talked about GBPCHF. So when price broke, this counter trend line and also broke this minor level, so that's when I go into a buy trade. But now price have come back now. So for now, what I just thought might happen is, so the price have come back down to like, so it's just like price after we have a break of this level, it's just like a retest of it. So let me delete this first. So when price broke this level, we never had any proper retest of this level. So this is just like after price broke the level, so we have a retest of it. So that's what I usually say. So these are the types of the retest that you want to be trading. So after price broke the level, you could see that price broke the level. You already know that okay, this level have already been broken. Then price came back down to retest the level again and starts forming some bullish candlesticks. So this was a clear break and retest. Like if you want to go into a trade, so this was a clear break and retest of a level. You could see, like you can see the space in between all these levels. You can see how price broke the level and how price started coming back down. So there was space in between the candles. So this is just like the type of break and retest that I usually talk about. So these are just like type of the break and retest. So apart from that, I see how, so I'm not on a sell trade on AUDCHF, but my analysis on it was for the sell, but I did not go into the sell trade. But AUDCHF was also moving to the downside. So following the structure of the market, we have a lower high, we have a low, we have a lower high, and then we have a low here, and price retraces back up to create another lower high. So when price got here, price got into the 61.6 Fibonacci level, and also price got into a major level, like looking at how price got ejected from this level. So this was like a very strong key level around this region. So this was like a very strong key level around this level. So price just got into the level, got ejected back to the downside. So that's just like how, like the reason why I'm using this level here. So price going to a 61.8 Fibonacci level, got into a major level, following the structure of the market. And if I go down to the 4-hour time frame, this was so going down to a 4-hour time frame, I still wait for, so after price broke this counter trend line, I wanted to go into, I was thinking of getting to a central, but I still I noticed that there was a level here that price have respect a lot of time. So that's why I just wait for. So after, so first thing that I noticed is that looking at this seems like a head and shoulder pattern on a 4-hour time frame. So this seems like a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder around this region. And if that's the case, so this is going to be like the neckline. So this minor level here is going to be the neckline. So when I noticed that price was respecting this level a lot of time, so price have first, so we have a rejection at this level, so price reject from here. So when I noticed that price finally broke below the level, so that was when it's now time to get into a sell trade. Though I'm not in a trade at the moment, but when price just start trading below this key level, so that's when it's time to get into the trade and so take profit, go above this recent high. So if I got into a buy trade here using this bearish candlestick, so when price start trading below here, so if I go into the sell trade around this region, so my stop price is going to be above here. But since I got into the trade after price going into this level and retrace back up, so this was the recent high that was formed on the 1 hour, on the 4-hour time frame. So that's why I was just placing my stop loss above here. But if I use this candlestick, so my stop loss is going to be going above this key level. So that's just how I got into this trade. So I'm saying about the A plus setup, the quality trade, looking for quality setup. Quality setup are just the setup that you see that you have a lot of confluence coming together. So having the Fibonacci, a major key level, and also maybe a break of a counter trend line. So those are the trades that I consider the quality setup, the best setups. So those are the ones that I usually talk about. So That's it for UDCHF. So when you are